There's a lot of do's and don'ts when it comes to buying a house these days. Imagine if I could give you 5 tips of things to stay away from when you're in the middle of buying a house. In this video, I'm gonna be covering 5 mistakes that you can avoid when you're purchasing a home. The most common mistake that a lot of people make when buying a house is pulling your credit or applying for credit during the loan process. Most mortgage companies, they will monitor your credit report. So if you go out to Best Buy or you go out to maybe a furniture store and you see that they're offering that 0% financing for 18 months and you're so excited about buying your house, if you go out and apply for that credit card, we will see that inquiry show up on your credit. And when that inquiry shows up and you're creating new debt, the mortgage lender, we have to account for that new payment. Even though it's 0%, we still have to hit you for some type of payment in order to qualify you for the mortgage. So mistake number 1, do not pull your credit. Stay away from any sort of advertising, any sort of itch that you might have to go buy something until you get your keys to your house. If it's something you absolutely have to do, make sure to check with your lender first before applying for the credit. Number 2, depositing cash into your bank account. Cash is a no-no when it comes to financing. We have to be able to trail that money and trace where it came from. So if it came from your safe at home or your friend and you just deposited $10,000 into your bank account, no one's gonna know where that came from. We have no way to prove it on our side as a mortgage lender. So if you have some cash, the thing that you wanna do is get that into your account as soon as possible, because what we call seasoned money means that money has to be in your account for at least 60 days for us to say, you know what, hey, that belongs to you. And again, this is another common mistake that a lot of people make. So if you guys have some cash and you're not sure what to do with it or how to move it around or get it into your account, again, make sure you talk to your lender, because the more that we know what you're dealing with, we can best structure your loan and give you some advice so that way your deal doesn't blow up in the middle of escrow. The third common mistake that we see is when people co-sign for somebody else. And a lot of times it's for a family member and you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart to help them. And a lot of times we see it on car loans and stuff like that. But remember, whoever you're co-signing for, if they miss a payment, that will affect your credit score. I've had fathers co-sign for daughters on even other mortgages, and they were totally unaware that the daughter wasn't making the payment, and guess what? His 800 credit score is now a 500. So be very cautious about co-signing for people. Like I said, I know a lot of times it's family members or friends and you want to help them out and just to be there for them, but just be a little careful. If you're buying a house or you know you're going to be making a big purchase, that might be something you want to stay away from, just because if something does happen, again, you're not going to be able to fix your credit in a quick enough time frame in order to get you to be able to buy a house. Number 4, do not close any of your credit accounts. And a lot of times when I talk to clients up front, they may have a small balance left on their car loan, for example, and they have this extra cash that they say, you know what, hey, I'm gonna pay down or I'm gonna pay off my car loan. But a lot of times, and people don't really understand this, that when you pay off a car loan, that will actually lower your credit score. Because of it being an installment loan, you're only getting credit while this account is open and active. But the minute you close that account, you're losing all that credit history that you've been paying over the years. And I can tell you firsthand, I did this myself. I paid off my car and I monitored my credit just to see, is this true? Does this really happen? And sure enough, my score went down. So I tell you guys, and I reassure you, if you're looking to pay anything off, again, talk to your lender first before you spend that money, because we may be able to qualify you with just the way your debt is. And if we can do that, you're gonna save yourself spending thousands of dollars to pay off credit cards or car loans or anything that you may not even have to do to qualify to purchase. And of course, if your credit score is at a marginal place to where we need a certain score for you to qualify, maybe for down payment assistance, we wanna make sure that we keep that score where it is. Because again, you might be thinking that you're doing the right thing by paying off that car loan to lower your debt to income ratio, when in actuality, you could be hurting yourself and setting yourself back months from being able to purchase. And last but not least, another common mistake that I see people making all the time is you're going on vacation in the middle of buying a house. Guys, we will need paperwork. You have to sign your loan docs. There's all this communication that has to go on between us as your lender and you as a borrower. So unless you're very tech savvy, and you've got everything maybe in Dropbox or Google Docs or somewhere that you can easily access things and get them to your lender, and you can sign digitally, you may actually need to coordinate that with your lender before you go on your trip, or you may have to postpone that trip. I just see it far too often that people go into escrow on a house and then they're like, hey, I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks. Well, your loan's not gonna be done in 2 weeks, so how are we gonna get this closed? Are you gonna go to a consulate or an embassy to sign your loan docs while you're overseas? All these things have to get taken into account, and if this is your first time buying, you're literally adding more stress to the entire process. So I would urge you, if this is your first time buying a house, push back that vacation, wait till you get your keys so that way you can truly enjoy your vacation and not be stressed out about when is your loan gonna close, how are you gonna wire your money, when are you gonna sign your loan docs. All of these moving pieces play a huge part in getting your deal done, and I think it's always best if you can be here or at least in the country to be able to sign. So there you have it. 5 common mistakes people make when purchasing a home. And if this is your first time that you're thinking of buying, if you want a stress-free transaction, these are some things that you definitely want to remember while you're in the middle of purchasing your home.